Most AI SaaS products fail before they ever even launch. Not because the idea is bad, but because the structure underneath it is weak. In this video, I'm breaking down how we helped a compliance consultant turn his expertise into a scalable AI SaaS product, and why separating phase 1 and phase 2 was different between a chatbot experiment and a real product.
Hi, my name is Matthias Hacker, and I've been working with Out for the last year pretty much. We worked on a fuzzy logic system for compliance for the business industry.
So if you're building your own AI SaaS or agent-based product, this breakdown will save you months. Now let's talk a little bit about the idea. And first, credit where it's due. This was a genuinely strong and brilliant idea. Matthias works in compliance and advisory for online founders. He helps with company formation, tax structuring, legal entity selection, contracts, data protection, regulatory compliance.
It was a very, very complex and hard project to actually develop because there's a lot of components and research that had to go behind it.
And here's the genuine reality. Online business compliance is chaotic. Founders don't know which state to form in, which entity type to choose, whether they need VAT, what contracts they require, what data protection laws to apply. So instead of continuing to sell pure advisory hours, he wanted to build an AI-powered SaaS product that guides users through a structured questionnaire, applies direct compliance logic, generates tailored recommendations, and outputs all of this into a nice, clean, structured checklist. This is not hype AI. This is structured problem solving at scale. When he came to us, the initial idea was framed a little like this. Let's build an AI avatar that walks users through compliance questions. And here's where most AI SaaS builds go wrong. They build a chatbot, a front end, a cool avatar, and call it a product. But we zoomed out. This wasn't just a chatbot. It was a decision engine. Compliance decisions are conditional. They depend on geography, revenue, business model, ownership structure, data practices. So before building anything AI, we asked, what decisions are being made repeatedly? What logic determines those decisions? What outputs are actually being sold? What must be deterministic versus AI assisted? And that changed everything. Now, let me go over the two phases. Phase 1 was not about monetization. It was about building the secure AI SaaS core. We focused on structured questionnaire architecture, fuzzy logic rule mapping, conditional decision tree making, state and entity recommendation engines, compliance checklist generator, AI assisted summarization layer, secure backend infrastructure, authentication and role level security, and user session management. In simple terms, we converted expert compliance knowledge into structured system logic. And that's the intellectual property of the SaaS. Instead of manually advising every founder, the AI SaaS now has an input, which has structured logic, which has then controlled layer, and then output. That's scalable, that's defensible, and that's product foundation. So if you're thinking about building an AI SaaS product, this is where most founders mess up. They jump straight into payments, branding, funnels, marketing, before their core logic is even stable. If the engine is weak, no amount of traffic will fix it. So if you're not sure whether your expertise can be turned into a structured AI SaaS engine, that is something we can diagnose directly, and we do this with founders all the time. Now let's talk about turning it into an actual revenue-ready product. Phase 2 included full UI redesign aligned with the brand identity, Figma structuring for landing page, questionnaire, and output, Stripe API integration, paywall logic, CRM integration, pixel tracking, prompt-based downloadable AI frameworks replacing the chatbot setup that we had, domain setup and production hosting, and then lastly, adding flexibility for iteration and scaling. This is not just software, this is an AI product ecosystem. Because this is compliance related, trust matters a lot. We built on Supabase for backend, secure authentication, role level access control, structured JSON storage, and modular architecture for future expansion. Why? Because as this AI SaaS grows, the foundation should not break. And later on, if we want to add new compliance modules, expand to new jurisdictions, integrate more automation, or even white labels it, the architecture supports it. That's engineering for leverage, not experimentation. But what's the strategic advantage? The smartest part of this project wasn't the AI, it was the positioning. This isn't an AI making legal guesses. It's an AI operating inside a structured compliance framework defined by an expert. That's what makes an AI SaaS durable. Most AI tools are just wrappers. This is a logic system with AI layered on top. Big difference. But what is the core lessons that you can learn from this? So if you want to build a real AI SaaS product, have 2 phases. Phase 1 captures the structured expertise, and then phase 2, after that, only monetize and scale the system. If you do the reverse order, you build something quite fragile. Structure first, monetization second, always. So if you're watching this and thinking, I have expertise, I repeat the same advice daily, I want to productize it into an AI SaaS or an agent-based system or something, book an ROI-based clarity call. And on that call, we'll break down whether your idea can become a real AI SaaS or not, what decision engine should look like, what belongs in phase 1 versus phase 2, what infrastructure is required.
Because sometimes that's one of the biggest things that's important in business, to be able to communicate, especially if you're building something. So I really appreciate the time that we've been working together, and we'll continue working together on this project. And I'm very grateful for the work that they have done with us. And it's been very, very interesting. And I really appreciate so they did an amazing job in actually developing. They worked very hard on the project. The communication with them was very, very, very good, very fast. And for me, that's the most valuable thing, and fast communication and good understanding. So it was very, very good from my side. I do recommend them for anyone looking to work with them, develop something or improve upon something. They're really the right partners for you guys. And yeah, if anybody ever wants a reference from my side, or they want to look into the project that I created with them, feel free to do so. And I highly encourage that you guys actually work with them if you're still doubtful, because they are really the right partners for you guys.
And whether the economics actually make sense. No hype, no generic AI talk, just genuine structured diagnosis and strategy building. If you want to turn your expertise into a scalable AI product, that is your next step. Click the link below.